Okay.
How you doing?
How's it going? Oh, you're under Chris Stevens.
Yeah, Chris. We have been setting all the Zoom calls up with his Zoom account.
You shared the account. I gotcha.
I have my. He actually has a second one, and I have my own too. It's for like other meetings because you can't be on two Zooms at one time. We found out.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So this is already recording.
So you catfished us?
What's that?
You catfished us?
I did, yeah.
Chris Stevens for the day.
Bam! Here it is. It's an hour of me. I have to pull. Summers made a PowerPoint. Okay, I can't minimize while I'm recording. Will, I have a question for you. How can I get
Sorry, I said, what do you got? But I'm on mute. What do you got?
wait, I think I figured it out. Chris sent me a PowerPoint and I couldn't get it to go anywhere. Like I couldn't get it to open with anything, but I think I figured it out because Mariah knows this, I'm sure, but Chris is a diva and can't do a screen share himself.
Well, keep it. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just
I
saying
see-
how you're a diva.
I see your Chris Stevens. It was on my list to do a Zoom training on Zoom on Saturday. I thought it was Sunday. I missed the class. It's a recording. I haven't listened to it yet. So, yeah, however you want to put my slides up is up to you guys.
Yep, I'm figuring it out for you now.
Dana Freeman's right there. She might know how to do it. She's become the Chief Education Officer, CEO.
All right, I have it here. Look at that. I just got to share it with you guys. Oh, no. All right, hold on.
I see Dana is doing a class tomorrow, right?
I am all about mindset, non-real estate related, good karma mindset.
Well, I think the big picture of that is you can't do anything real estate related unless you have the right fucking mindset.
True.
Or maybe you can't do really anything that productive or successful without the right mindset.
All right, so you guys can see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. I'm doing a good job so far, Chris.
Man, you're killing it.
I wish I was killing it half as good as that beard is.
You know, I'm getting a lot of compliments on this beard, and you know, don't tell anyone. I'm still, you know, getting it cut where I can, just, you know, under the radar, and my head shaved.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You can't go without a good head shave for too long.
Yeah, because I might not look like a diva, you know, with a t-shirt. This is like a Philly shirt too, from like South Philly. You know, but I am a diva. I guess I am. I'm starting to learn that very quickly.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Why don't we give like 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Or you can get started. I'll just move the slides.
Yeah, I mean, wait 2 more minutes, give or take. Today's Tuesday, right? It's hard to even remember the days.
Yep.
But it looks like we have a good turnout here. If I can tell on my Zoom, looks like there's 12, 15, 16. Is that correct?
Stacy just got like 35, so.
Yeah. Okay.
No, usually people end up coming in throughout. But this is a good turnout for what we've been seeing. We're also recording it, so it'll be on the YouTube channel like tomorrow. So you can share it with your team or whoever.
Man. Well, maybe we should just kind of just get started. I mean, there's a lot in here anyway.
Yeah, let's just get rolling.
All right, because I think the topic was 5 things to do right now. So I think I kind of have this kind of broken out in different slides, but obviously as we go through this, there's a lot more than 5 things to do. But I think what I tried to do here was put them in more like specific categories. Also, I don't know if we can get a show of hands, but in chat, has anyone read this book, Relentless? Relentless by Tim Grover. It might be hard to get like a show of hands or whatnot, but he was the trainer for Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade. A lot of people might not know, the NBA action, but in his book, the topic from good to great to unstoppable, it might parlay into this kind of action mindset, shift tack 1, like anything else. There's a lot of things that we could do on a daily basis that ultimately will make someone relentless. And what I liked about his book, is instead of having like 15 things to do, he had them all as number one. So I think as we go through this, it's not like the first thing is better, the second thing is better, or the third thing. They're all great. And I think people can kind of pick and choose in your business today or what you're doing today, what might be the most important thing for you to do. And then obviously if one thing starts to work more than another, whatever that might be for your own kind of mojo, then double down and triple down on that. Does that make sense to everyone? I think that's kind of common sense. My cat might join in here real. So, and if you don't have this book, one of the slides is obviously, double down on education, self-development. And, to some people, it might just be reading some good books, or it might be Audible, whatever it is. Maybe if you're going for a walk, listen to a podcast. I love that, the One Thing podcast. So maybe we can kind of just go right into the next slide, Brandon. I'm going to move my videos over my grid. Now, what about questions? Like, would people ask questions in the chat, Brandon, or can they just jump in on audio?
Yeah, so they will ask questions in the chat. I mean, they could chime in audio. The only thing is I can't really manage the chat and share my screen at the same time because it minimized everything. So if somebody, Teresa or Dana or someone, could you just manage the chat?
I can manage the chat. I have it up. If I see anything pop up, I'll kind of interrupt.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and I just put my chat thing up too, so I'll kind of look at it there. So if don't wait till the end. If there's a question, if it's something that's on your mind, you might forget till the end. Just ask the question. And I really think, and kind of going through this list, I got some feedback from some people on my team, like, yeah, this is great. But for what it's worth, I mean, this might be a lot of the same things that are being said on other Zoom calls or other things that you're reading. But I guess that's okay too, because I think everything, in any type of sales position or entrepreneurial position, ultimately it comes down to, some basics and just kind of doing the basics day in and day out. And I think, in terms of what I just gave the example for here with this Relentless book, is I have only been with KW for a little over a year now. And, not to say anything, negative about, where I was before. I guess what I'm saying is the positive side, of the leadership, from the Gary Keller or the KWRI level down to the region, down to the market center with Brandon, Chris and Grav and everyone, even the people on the committees, down to the agent level, on Facebook, or it could be our team, or there's so many other teams, it has been amazing. And I think people can probably just sharpen their skills tenfold if they just simply, this is Charlie, by the way, he never lets me be. It's hard. Yeah, unless he's sleeping, he's next to me, somewhere. Is this, I listened to a couple of, the KWRI like shift Zoom calls because I'm kind of using that shift playbook, for my team. My team's doing calls Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning, whereas before it was just Wednesday morning. So that's one thing that we're doing as a team. But if someone's not on a team, you could do the same type of Zoom calls with KWRI or here with the KW Philadelphia Market Center. So, with the different types of, there are so many different types of training that I see, and I know it could be overwhelming. My suggestion is for people to focus on sales and shift, and Dana's class tomorrow, mindset, because we were just talking about it earlier before other people might have got here. Without mindset, there is no action. Without action, there is no lead generation. Without lead generation, there is no lead conversion. So I think everything just kind of starts, with these little building blocks, and we kind of have a roadmap here, with KWRI, with KW Philadelphia. Obviously, if it's certain topics you need to sharpen your skills on, with some of these other Zoom calls, well by all means, do them. But I think the sales skills, with realtors, what I've seen over the years hasn't been that great. You could know everything about everything, from the agreement of sale from A to Z, but if you don't have lead generation, it doesn't matter. If you have lead generation, but you can't convert them to a potential client, well, that doesn't matter either. But obviously knowing that information, is a big building block to communicate with people and build that trust, build that rapport, to have people want to work with you. I can't get some hands, but I guess that makes sense to everyone, right? I see some hands. I only see like five people on the screen. So with that, I think if you combine, these Zoom videos with reading some high-level, life-changing books, and if I could put my bookcase in front of me, it's behind me. I could look at these books. There's probably 150 books here. I've read all of them. And there's more there's books that aren't even up here, that I've read too. I've always liked to say, if you think about it, I like the term 10 pages a day. And I think, in a work at home environment, it could easily be more than 10 pages a day. So like another thing maybe to do right now is if you think about it, if you read 10 pages a day times 30 days, that's 300 pages a month. Most of these books are much less than 300 pages a month, but let's just say that's one book. And then if you read 12 books over the course of the year, and if those 12 books are 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I know these authors, I don't even have it here. Crush It by Gary Vee, The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, a Tony Robbins book, Shift by Gary Keller. That's obviously one of the chapters here. Those types of things that are in these books will also help that mindset in terms of, hey, if I take 1 or 2 things away, because I'm hearing about it here and there, can really help develop some daily habits, some confidence, whatever it might be, to help you take it to the next level. And I think if people did just that in and of itself, you can look at someone's business year over year, and it could just be a result of just being top of mind, reading self-development books and being on Zoom calls. If you think about it, is that really that difficult? Brandon, do you think that's that difficult?
Nope.
Okay, have you read any of these books on here?
I have. Obviously, I think everyone should have read at some point Think and Grow Rich. I tried the 4-Hour Work Week. That was good. Relentless is good. I usually I go back to like the Simon Sinek books and stuff like that too. When you talk about mindset, and they're all good.
Yeah, this list can go on and on. I see a comment. Looks like rock star Brittany Nettles reading the 4-Hour Work Week right now. He wrote that book years ago. And there are so many concepts in there of leverage, of of models, of systems. He talked about virtual assistants in that book years ago, like apps that I've never heard of years ago. And I think, as we kind of make it through, what we're doing today, I've also heard, and supposedly you can only get it on Audible, the book Remote, which was written by the founder of Basecamp, which is a tool that one of our past marketing mentors has used as a great book. And think about our remote environment and how important that is today. And I think the agents that can learn from this remote thing that's happening right now and really apply it in their business, with doing Zoom buyer consultations, which Dana Freeman, who's on here, has already done several. She's even done a training of people on our team, instead of meeting someone in the office, do it on Zoom. You do a listing appointment, on Zoom, or have the seller walk you through a property. A lot of not just basic things, but things that could really kind of create these tools and this fast learning curve and then apply to business. So I've always been, a big believer, reading books. Sometimes people, they're not interested. I mean, I think Audible, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of like get this info, without obviously having, the hardcover or the paperback book kind of thing. If there's anyone that has any book recommendations for me, send them over. Chances are I've read it, but I'm constantly always looking for, new, life-changing, books to read. And not for nothing, I think those books should be, mandatory reading material in high school or junior high school. Think about if people read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in high school or junior high school. Just saying. Anyway, any questions with that first part? I think it's pretty straightforward. Just dive in. This info is out there. The people that don't kind of soak it in, I think, are going to be missing out, especially while you have a little bit more time now. Can I just is anyone else kind of having the same thing that I am? It seems like I'm working more post-virus, and hopefully everyone's safe and healthy, with the same amount of hours. Obviously revenue is going down, but just on different things. Like, it's insane. But I know it's all really good building blocks to kind of take it to the other side. I'm getting a couple yeps, and absolutely. And I think, for us that are doing that, well, what are we doing? We're diving in, and I think when you're doing some stuff that makes you uncomfortable, you will get comfortable quickly. And then that fast learning curve makes you better as a person, as a realtor, a better salesperson, etc. So number two, which is also number one, because, I like the fact that they're all number one, the opportunity to really, drill down into database. Obviously myself and my team have come from Follow Up Boss, and we're slowly getting integrated with Command. The big picture, is database. Whatever database you're using, use it, double down on it. The opportunity to have more time to kind of get more familiar with Command, I think it's like perfect timing, Brandon, with so many people, maybe on the transaction side or the database side or the CRM side, and all, the classes that you guys are doing, that, the KWRI, the Connect, I haven't plugged in to as much Command training on that end. We signed up something, for it's like team training, and that's cool. So we can kind of like set our own schedule. But I think for the people that can kind of do a little bit of both, is big. And we kind of talked about this, in number one, getting, more acclimated to this kind of future way of doing business. Learn Zoom. I will do Dana's Zoom training soon. I have the recording. The recording doesn't go away, does it?
Mm-mm.
I don't have like 48 hours. I'm not under pressure to like watch it by tomorrow morning. But obviously I need to watch it soon, because the sooner I watch it, the more, that I can kind of like be ahead of the game and do Zoom calls and have my own Zoom account and not have Teresa set up a Zoom account for me. Just get it done, and go from there. So learn how to use Zoom calls with your clients. We utilize BombBomb, which is nice. I don't know if people are familiar with BombBomb. It's not that expensive. It's not the interactive video like we're doing now, but, instead of sending a blah email, I mean, email is fine, a text communication is fine, but why not, do a quick video update, to your seller. I guess in our normal market, we had 10 showings, we got the feedback, this person might be doing this person might be doing that. Maybe the communication now is, hey, I just got a virtual tour done of your property. We're pushing it out on Facebook and IG, getting some inquiries. From those inquiries, I have another video that we're sending them. We're doing everything we can, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, in this difficult environment, to get some marketing done for your property, whatever it is. I think people like that. Like I had I like some real life examples. A listing appointment a couple weeks ago with a husband and wife, and they interviewed 4 people. Well, they were only going to interview 1, and that person didn't get back to them. So she was out, which was weird because that person helped them buy the property. So they didn't go back to the person that they helped buy to sell. They were going to, but she didn't get back to them. Well, that's kind of, we don't even need to talk about that. I mean, that's sales 101, follow up and get back in contact with people. But then, so they met with 3 people, maybe 1, and the other 2 were not KW Philadelphia people. So it wasn't like I was competing internally, but I was walking down the street. The woman was walking her dog. It was like the cutest dog ever, like some little bulldog thing. I was like, hey. And she's looked at me. She goes, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, I don't know. And she goes, well, you sent me a video. Meet me tonight at 6. Not to say that's going to happen every time, but I think, it's not too often for like a pre-listing kind of thing. The agents might be sending, a marketing package or whatever. But I think anytime you can make something a little bit more personal, Brandon, you're just maybe getting a little bit ahead of the game kind of thing. Does that make sense?
For sure. Now, if Dana wants to be a real friend, she could send that Zoom training video to me, and I could put it on the YouTube for everybody to learn.
Well, she's thinking about licensing that. It might just be for the summer season. Or
we'll give
obviously,
you the trademark. We'll give you the copyright. It's fine.
But no, I'm reading this other book. I have it here. I guess it's in my bag. Something about the go-giver leader. And again, in sales, the concept, especially with karma, is the more you give, the more you receive. And I think that constantly kind of is a good reminder, when we're reaching out to clients or past clients or people in your sphere, showing up, for people, that kind of thing. Someone says here, there's a free alternative, the bomb called Dub. So maybe Dub, is the answer. It's free. I think whatever it is, bomb, Dub, new video app 1, 2, 3. I think it's important to really do all these things. You could use Zoom for video communication with people, bomb, Dub, any type of video marketing communication. I don't really use TikTok yet. I don't really know what it is, but maybe I'll get there. I'm a little older, Brandon. But I think to double down, on training and kind of getting a little bit ahead of the curve, because like, back in the day, people would kind of call agents like tech savvy. Now it's like the new tech agent or something. Just the big picture, is to be ahead of the curve and have these tools to kind of stay top of mind with people in your database and so forth. Does that make sense? Does anyone want to make a lot of money this year, even though there's no showing? I've seen some hands. I think this one is a no-brainer. Maybe this is probably what should be done before that other stuff. But if you want to do some other stuff first and then do this because you already did whatever, but I think it's super, super important, to stay in contact, with everyone in your database. And I think that obviously starts with, the hierarchy is, people that are under contract right now. What's the update? What's happening? What's the logistics? What's the next step? What do we plan for? If I'm a seller, I'm not showing up to settlement. There's no reason to. I'm getting a deed package. If I'm a buyer, can I do a paperless, transaction? Is it set up with a title company? What can we do to kind of make this client experience the best that we can in the environment that we're in? And it might be like a little bit nutty and a little bit wacky, and people in different rooms or whatever if they have to show up. But obviously, I think the point is people just want to be heard from, and that I think is even more importantly, at least the pending deals, is stuff that's already in your pipeline. Now, some of those people, and this has probably already happened, might be consumed by fear. What the fuck am I going to do? Am I going to buy a property? Or I'm too scared. I lost money in the stock market, or I'm not doing this. I'm frozen. I'm paralyzed. I'm depressed. I can't buy a home. And I think, getting, this could get back to scripts. I know KW is big on scripts. I'm just big on handling objections and finding solutions. So I think a lot of these objections are going to be like the same thing. Should I continue to buy the property? If I'm a seller, should I continue to keep it listed? Now, each case I think is going to be different, but I think at the end of the day, more often, the answer for the buyer is yes. More often to the answer to the seller is yes, or maybe pause for a week or two, whatever it might be. Just having the communication with people is important. I've already got 2 phone calls from sellers who have their property listed with other brokers, Brandon. The expiration date's coming up. They're already thinking about making a change. I think one of them was like a 60-day contract or something. So, I mean, it could be some potential business, but obviously if is just a small microcosm. If that's happening, with those 2, it's probably happening maybe with some of our listings. If we're not in contact with our sellers more, it's probably applicable to everyone in KW Philadelphia if we're not in contact with our sellers a little bit more frequently, and at least kind of get the roadmap. I know this is being recorded, but it's okay. Fortunately for us, we've already kind of done video marketing, Brandon, but for the ones that we didn't have videos on, the guy got into property, took a virtual tour, vacant property, whatever. At least we have the content now, that we can kind of promote and utilize on social media. If someone has an inquiry, boom, we got the 360 tour, we got the property video tour if we didn't have it before. If you're meeting with, a seller now, or I'm sorry, doing your virtual appointment, hey, this is the first thing that we're going to do. In addition to getting high level professional photos, we're also going to get, a high level, video. I'm doing 2 videos, the 360 tour and the property video, because you can kind of utilize them, for different things. And I think maybe there might be some questions with that, because you go on Facebook and it's like, it's like an obscene ocean of people just venting and questions and questions and questions. But yeah, I get it. It's okay. But I think the important thing for here, this is what you can focus on, what you can control and what you can't. Those are the 2 most important people to be in contact with. Obviously, your buyers that are thinking about buying a property, but you're kind of on hold, staying in contact with them, talking about interest rates being super low, opportunity of a lifetime, whatever it is. But I think the most important, is in Shift, where it talks about lead generation, is really staying in contact with people in your database. I might have one of the example here on the next slide, but one of the videos that we just did, is obviously I own a couple investment properties. I'm sure several people on this call own some too. I'm like, well, this is like the perfect time to do a Zoom video. I didn't record it because I was a little scared, so I had someone else, come in and do the recording. But with a local attorney, how should landlords prepare for April 1st and the virus when people on the news are saying tenants don't pay rent? The whole world is not unemployed, obviously. So I think, there might be tenants that might try to game the system. And obviously, there's going to be some cases where it is hard out there, where someone might have gotten laid off or, is unemployed right now. But they have kind of a game plan of what to do next. We've got a lot of positive feedback on that video, Brandon. And for the people that are in our database that are tagged investor or landlord, you know, a nice little email blast to those people. I said a lot, you know, just to individual people that I know, and they're like, Chris, this is like perfect timing. So it's those types of building blocks. Fast forward 6 months or a year, you know, these investors, you know, work with a lot of different people, you know, but if they have a property where maybe they're not obligated to sell it with someone, it's that type of building block to build that trust and rapport, you know, that can maintain that relationship for a much longer period of time. Makes
Chris,
sense, everyone?
someone had mentioned how great your investor talk with Alan was, that it was very helpful.
You're welcome. Maybe, yeah, I guess that's Anne who mentioned that. I'll take a cocktail as a you're welcome too when we make it to the other side.
Definitely.
Because I have a lot of people that owe me cocktails, you know, throughout the you know, the city. But no, I mean, I think the important thing is there's obviously tons of info out there that's very, very relevant. I saw Dana, you just did a Facebook Live. I might owe someone else a few cocktails there too. You know, she moves is reminding me. You did a Facebook Live, and we talked about it on one of our sales calls. You know, is reminding, you know, your past clients that bought a home that they have an opportunity to refi and save hundreds of dollars per month. In some cases, it might be a lot more. Is there any business that comes from that?
Absolutely, because, right, you're an expert.
Correct. There's no business that comes right now. They're refining. They're not selling or whatever. But what you're doing is you're building that rapport for all types of referrals, client for life when they are ready to sell. And we're seeing it in our market. People are buying and selling within 5 years, oftentimes. You know, but that's, I mean, it's an easy kind of reminder. Yeah, I'm doing that. How much are we really doing it? Going to our past people that bought 2 years ago and say, hey, by the way, you know, I kind of remember when you bought, and I kind of remember rates were up here, and now rates are like way down there somewhere. You know, this might not be a bad opportunity, you know, for people to actually have the time, you know, to do refis. Refis sometimes are, you know, are painful, especially when you own a lot of properties, because it's like a full-time job giving mortgage companies, you know, a bunch of documentation. But yeah, this is a good time to do that. For the people that own one property, it really shouldn't be that difficult to give them documentation.
Well, and how about being a trusted partner to explain that process to them too, right? So like you mentioned, we might not get a sale today from it, but hey, I called Dana and she told me what to expect, and it was really smooth, and I lowered my monthly mortgage by $200. They probably are going to share that with a few friends or colleagues or family members, and hopefully you'll get a few phone calls from that as being a new trusted resource.
Exactly. That's that word spreads, things happen, which gets back to the concept, the more you give, you know, the more you receive, kind of thing. So yeah, going into this, does anyone have any other questions or just reminders that I owe them cocktails or money? Do I owe anyone money? I don't think I do. KW might want their team cap check tomorrow. They can wait a few days. Just kidding.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, you know. Well, I mean, I think, you know, and there's some great people in the Market Center, which I need to sit in on their classes too. You know, you know, pretty much everyone is on social media these days, but it's still an opportunity to kind of step up your game, kind of thing, and maybe find, you know, some info that's a little bit more timely. You know, find something that is a little bit more relevant, you know, that you can kind of pump out there to kind of, again, you know, wanting to be the trusted source, you know, whether it be for a neighborhood or a niche market, that kind of thing. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
All right. My screen went blank. That's okay. I'm going to go to my, can you still see me?
Yep, no problem.
Okay. So I'm going to pull up my slides on social media. That's weird. Oh, wait.
While you're pulling that up, I was going to say it earlier,
Yeah.
but we've moved through. There's a book. You were mentioning a lot of books. A lot of them are like procedural, and they're not always like fun. And sometimes you want more of a story. There's a book that Matt Teeter recommended called "The Monk That Sold His Ferrari" by Robin Sharma, I believe. That's like a really hot book right now. It's it's an actual like novel. It's a short novel, but it takes your mind a little bit off of the strict procedural books that I think we're all used to.
Well, I just wrote that down. I'm going to get that book. And yeah, my screen kind of came up. And maybe the social media game, like if you're doing more videos, well, now's a chance to do more videos on Facebook or the IG videos, yeah, that are really cool. And I always kind of make the note here, again, like, I'm going to some of these real estate nightmare groups and, people just like, where these threads are like this long. And I think there's so many other things that we could do that are within our control that are going to be positive, for business than getting involved in, oh my God, this realtor, showed a property in New Jersey. And the rules are constantly changing. We'll stay on top of them. The market center is staying on top of them. But I think you guys see my point. It's really easy to kind of, whether it's social conversations or these other real estate related type things that are interesting, but the more time you kind of spend in them, it leads to zero production, and maybe this leads to more mind space, being, taken, control of. I remember back in, I guess it was 2016 or 12, I would post more political nonsense back then, and I get involved in these conversations that would last for days. And I think, with what's happening, I think the social media reminder, long story short, have some fun, here and there, get involved here and there, but just really, try to drill down, where your time is going to be most valuable. And that might be on a neighborhood page, where there's only a few realtors posting, some info, versus, all these groups that are just like real estate centric, where people are just like nonstop posting stuff about, the rules changing, or this person doing this or this person doing that. I say, like, focus on what you can control in your own business. Just my suggestion. I don't have that here on a slide. I guess I do have, I guess I kind of do. Be careful of the time suck. Does that kind of, make sense to everyone? Again, I know I asked the same question. I think video is really the key, for the future, and then utilizing the video combined with social media is going to be, a catalyst for those agents to get more business down the road. And I think, the Shift book is just kind of was brought up here. And I think what I forgot to say in the preface of this, which is maybe why I was asked to do this. I have no idea why I was asked to do this, but I'm happy that I am doing it. I would say there might be a quarter of the agents on here that were in the financial crisis shift or that market change, but I'm thinking there's probably 75% that weren't. I'm just guessing, just looking at the age group. And for myself and Stephanie, what happened was, is our business really didn't go down that much during those years. Having a diversified mix of working with a lot of investors, being in neighborhoods that weren't really affected too much. I mean, Northern Liberty's got pummeled back then. A lot of people don't really recall that or remember that. But I think more importantly is, what did we do? We did pretty much exactly what we're talking about here. Back then, like, blogging was a much bigger thing. So we would constantly write articles about neighborhoods, updates, short sales and foreclosures were getting vogue. And we wrote a lot of articles about short sales that I sort of went to Google and just Googled Philadelphia short sales. There was a lot of times like our articles kind of came up. And back then, very few agents really even knew how to do a short sale. So I guess my point is instead of freezing, it's more being proactive. Instead of being reactive, it's more thinking outside the box, what can be done. And I guess there's a couple people that mentioned it on my team, and even myself is like, I think I even have my copy here somewhere. It might be in my book bag. Not that I was going to go to the office. I was going to maybe go to the park. The Shift book, is a perfect playbook for what to do. Obviously, I'm talking about, things now. But I think with all the calls that people kind of are on, the tactics in Shift is like the perfect playbook. So like our team is having these calls like 3 times a week now. We're just using the Shift as the outline. It's the playbook. Here's play 1, mindset. Here's play 2, action. Well, it's really in tactic 1. So tactic 1A, tactic B, tactic, or tac 2, which we spoke about yesterday. We'll talk about tomorrow, is the expense management. Looking at my business, like for the first time in a while, I already knew that there was fluff in there, but I guess because the market, was doing well, it even says it in the book, I kind of like rationalized, some of those expenses. I'm a smart guy.
How ironic is it? What were some of the things we were talking about at family reunion about getting more engagement for the team and having more, people involved and doing more calls and cutting expenses, and then ironically this happens. Yeah,
and I look at Compass, for example, laying off 15% of their staff, which sucks. I'm not saying, hey, KW is great, Compass sucks. In my mind, I'm kind of already thinking that they were going to lay off people anyway. And then now this happens, and it's like the perfect storm, for them to do that. And that could be the case, for any business. Like there's a couple of things that I've been kind of procrastinating doing in the past. Now this happens. Is it a rationalization to do it? Maybe. But in reality, it's more, hey, you don't have a choice to do it kind of thing. So, and I think the nice thing about expense management is it's not just, in your business life, it's in your personal life too. There's a lot of money that everyone that's on this call could be like, oh shit, I spent what, last year, if you don't really kind of keep track of it, you might get depressed, but it's also an opportunity to be like, what, that money could have gone into buying another investment property, or that money could have gone into having more of a emergency fund, for a safety cushion, if a global pandemic hits, whatever it might be, we can kind of like utilize these tools and just kind of be a little bit sharper. But I think more importantly, kind of having, those daily habits, for the future. I don't think I need to kind of, go into all the specifics here because there's so many other, Zoom calls, but if everyone doesn't have this book, it's like a no-brainer to get it. And then if you don't want the book, just get it on Audible. Like I found out the other day, it's like free on Audible.
If you've never had Audible before and done a trial before.
Right. I mean, to me, that book's probably worth $500. I would pay $500 for that book. Like if it wasn't like widely available. To me, that's a good investment, because you're going to get so much out, just from reading it and being on these calls.
Once we're actually like back in the office, we have a bunch of them at 1619 too, and we're ordering more. And real quick on the expense management, we're uploading Joe Sillo. I don't know if you guys know him yet. Obviously, he's our new CFO MCA with Michael. He did a tax benefits and expense management Zoom last week. And we finally were able to get the file out of Zoom. So we're going to be putting that towards the YouTube. And Gaurav did his P&L class yesterday, and that's already on there. So there's no better time than now to dive into that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that, to me, Brandon, I mean, it's just another example, it's like there's so many resources and great resources, that combine when you take all that info together, at KWRI, or even, more so right here, which I think it's more tangible, because like your colleague is doing it, people, in your support agent group are doing it. Or if you're not doing it, you want to do it because other people, are having tangible success. And I think when you kind of get down to it, I'm looking forward to reading these other chapters. I'm only through tax. I've read this book a while back, so it's like a reread, but really getting into the lead generation and lead conversion, even more so probably what's most important now is lead generation, in the database and the database management. I really think, I've said it a few times, like this whole concept of what we're talking about or having the ability to talk about is going to help agents that much more when they make it to the other side, because not only did they grind to get there, now all of a sudden, you kind of have that growth that happens as a result, and that takes some time to get to. But I guarantee you, if people kind of do this playbook and it's like a day in, day out kind of basis, they're going to be very, very successful. And that could be from a compensation standpoint, or it just could be from an influence standpoint, or being, proud for helping a lot of people buy a lot of homes and sell a lot of homes. Look at that. Stay humble, be kind. And I think, I get these reminders, you get them in life, you get them from reading these top books. Typically, the jackass, isn't revered, at top of the companies or top agents. It's people that, they work hard, they give. The more they give, the more they receive. They're not, putting people down along the way, insulting. And you might have some people that take some shortcuts to get to the top. But if they're doing the wrong things, they're not going to stay there. They're going to quickly come back down. So I think, these kind of concepts of just, being genuine, humble, kind are great building blocks, when you combine everything else for success. And, the exercise, I've really been missing my gym. I don't know about you guys. My walk around the blocks isn't a very, strenuous kind of thing. And with my knees, I can't really run. Doing some push-ups, and the cat walks over me while I do some push-ups. But the point being is, without having like a clear head, without, having some kind of clarity, it's hard to do these other things. So I think, the mindset, is, I'm kind of like work sometimes. It can be a workaholic, but, having those kind of notions where, you got to take time for yourself. You got to, take time to take care of yourself, exercise, yoga, maybe it's reading a book, turn the Netflix off, have, that space, with loved ones, you got the kids, your wife, girl, whatever it is. And, hopefully, these cafes and restaurants will be opening back up, and, obviously not too soon. We don't want them to open up. We want them to open up, but, not until the time is right. But then having, those moments with friends, family. And so my father would always say the 3 F's: faith, family, and friends. So, I mean, we need to have the cornerstones in your own personal life in order to grow from a business standpoint. I guess that's really, what I was trying to say there. Any questions before a conclusion or anything? I think the conclusion is pretty straightforward. And I kind of talk about this, with people on my team or with my wife, Stephanie, it's like in our mind, we're saying, hey, there might be very little business. This might be this stay at home thing until the end of May. So that's 2 more months from now. We got all of April, all of May. And it might be longer than that, but I like this concept. I think it's even mentioned in Shift, is, prepare for the worst and hope, for the best. That way you're not kind of like over optimistic. You're not like an extreme pessimist, but just, being realistic to kind of plan your life around that. And then, building those daily habits now, whether it's reading, whether it's exercise, whether it's training or double down on some things, or time blocking some time, for yourself, for your own hobby, or with a loved one, whatever it might be. And then over time, that business mind, can have you achieve, those amazing results and with the evolution, with technology, with self-development, with command, whatever database that you're using, that's key. And I think this is important too. Some of you guys might have experienced it already. You have some agents that are, doing some business here, they're growing, you got some others up here, you got some others up here. There's always going to be people trying to pull you down and be negative, and that's okay. That's just part of life, but I think, the concept is do your best to surround yourself with people like you. Like attracts like, positivity promotes positivity. Maybe it's not people in real estate or whatever, but any type of negative nonsense, that you just want to push that to the side. Like I found myself, the news, is important, the data is important, but every time I watch too much CNN and news, I get fucking depressed. Excuse the language. And my mindset goes from here to here. It takes me a little while to get back out of that. Now I want to know what's going on, so I'll watch the little bits and pieces, but maybe that might not be the best example, not a negative person, but it's not a positive thing for me to watch an hour or two of, cases rising, deaths rising. I know that there is going to be a solution. And what I found is the days this past week where I haven't watched or been glued to, hey, what's happening? I've had very productive days those days, and whatever is going to happen in life is going to happen anyway. Does that make sense, Brandon?
Of course.
And if we all get through it, this other side, Gary Keller talks about in the Shift book, for the people that kind of make it to the other side, the opportunity is what? There's less agents in the business as things progress, and there's more transactions. Where the paradox is a few months ago, there's more agents and less transactions because, the inventory is so small. So things kind of loosen up, more properties in the market, more activity, that kind of thing, and less agents. Now that might take more time, for it, to go out. But then as a result, for everyone that's on this call and doing the things that we're talking about, the opportunity for growth in your own personal business, however far you want to take it, is there. And I think that's the reminder for all of us. I need that reminder too. And I have people around me that, help me with, with that concept also. So 10 to 3, I think our timing is pretty good here. It's supposed to be 2 to 3, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's just, I know I talked a lot there, but, if there's any questions, there's other people, on the Zoom call, that might have a better answer than me. Maybe we just take the last 10 minutes for Q&A.
I'm sure someone has some questions out there.
So Chris, you're pretty social. How are you dealing with not being able to go out and about as much? I mean, there's no more in-person happy hours and Jerry's bar and meeting with people in person. What's helping you balance that today?
Well, I must say there's a couple people on this call that missed the opportunity to go to that last Sixer game, but obviously I was at the last Sixer game. No, I mean, Dana, it's hard. Like we had a virtual happy hour for the team on Friday. I think you probably had 5 other virtual happy hours. You might have missed ours, but that was fun. And it wasn't just our team. Some friends were on there, so it was kind of a way to kind of be social, but just in a different, weird way. But, it was cool. I don't know. I think Teresa is on a different call right now, but, she even said like the next day, oh, it's like she's a little hungover, from a virtual hangout. So, I mean, but no, it's like, I miss going to Sixer games. I miss going to, in Fishtown. I've been going to Mulheren's more for happy hour or Front Street Cafe. And, it's a good way to network. So, that's out, Dana. And so instead I'm doing Zoom calls. But at the same time, I'm going to sleep earlier. I'm waking up earlier. I'm attacking the database a little bit earlier. Who's to say when we get out of this, maybe, my daily habits are switched up a little bit, because, now I have kind of time to recognize, hey, there's other things, that can be done and still, do I have to go to every Sixer game? Maybe, but maybe not.
I had to delete
But
the
yeah,
one we were going to
good question.
tonight, so that was sad.
I know we're supposed to be at the Rockets game tonight, but that's okay. But yeah, the virtual happy hours, Dana, everyone has hobbies or start a hobby. I know Sean Dundon from our team, is teaching himself Spanish online. So the sky's the limit, with other hobbies that maybe we can replace, which might be more productive and healthier hobbies anyway. I grew a beard. That was another hobby. I'm doing beard management. Anything else?
I don't think
Chris,
so.
I'd like to know where you got your t-shirt and if I can take a picture of you with that t-shirt.
Do you want to take a picture now or later?
Yeah, I'll take a picture now because this is.
You have permission. I think I forget the name of the place, but it's in Passyunk. One of you guys might know it. They just have like a lot of cool Philly t-shirts. I got like my fish tan. I don't know where it is, but I got my
South
orange.
Fellini.
Yes. I got my orange Fishtown hat, like my winter hat from there. But they just have like a lot of cool like Philly stuff on Passyunk Ave, and get lunch, when it's open again, pop by the store, and I guess they have an online store. I have no idea. Because Mariah, you are very fashionable, and this T-shirt would probably look better on you than it does on me.
Stop.
Cool. Dana, do you see anything else in the chat box?
Cheesecake
Southwood.
Cheese has great ones, Jamie mentioned.
Great work. Cool. Well, thanks, Chris. This was great. It's just we need it. We'll have the recording up shortly.
Oh,
And
but
I think we can just, you and I will figure out our cadence on moving through slides, and we'll be okay.
this is perfect. And in the future, I'll take Dana's Zoom, how to be a professional Zoomer. And it'll be an evolution for me too.
We can always do a one-on-one too, Chris, if you need.
Oh, thank you.
It's very nice of you.
Thanks
to offer.
everyone for, was this helpful for people, or hopefully it was helpful? Thumbs up,
Very
maybe,
helpful.
pound?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks everyone that was on the call.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.